This video is about how I made some butcher block countertops out of a tree I cut down in my backyard. After drying for a couple of years, I took all the boards and I planed them and sliced them to size. And here you can see they're pretty much a number matched, so they fit together good. And then I just sat them in my room by my wood stove for a couple of weeks just to make sure that they were properly dried. And then after that, I just went back down in my shop and I started gluing these slots together. Now my joiner can only handle a 8-inch wide board, so I took and I glued up sections of the butcher block that were between, let's say, 7.5 and 8 inches wide. And there you can see it was kind of a messy job. It did take like 3 quarts of Titebond in the end, but I was able to get some get all the smaller pieces pre-assembled. And then next I took them over to my joiner and I just kind of flattened them all on that side and removed the glue and got that side good and flat. I planed the opposite side parallel, and then I jointed the 2 edges so that they were perpendicular to the face too. And there they are. They're all kind of laid out and ready to be, start the major glue up. And that was a real easy one. But I just did one section at a time to make sure that, I carefully clamped everything and got it pretty much perfectly aligned so it'll be flat when done. So, here you can see just kind of adding one section at a time. And it did take some time to, let everything dry and do it. And, then, when everything was done, I took and went back with a router with a trim bit and cut all the front and the back edges of it to be flat. And then I went back and I made a template up for my router to just put radiuses on all the corners. So there's the first countertop basically done. It's about 50 inches square. And I don't know how much it weighs, but it is quite heavy at this point in time. And then I went back and put a couple coats of water-based polyurethane on this, which was a mistake, and I'm not really happy with, but someday I'll redo it. And, here it is. This is about 3 years ago when I made these tops and first installed them. So, this is, basically what it looked like at the time. And at the end, I did do a couple of video clips of today, how it looks. So basically, I'm real happy with the outcome of it. And it didn't cost me anything other than a couple quarts of glue. So, it was a real low-cost job. Then the next thing, I had 2 more little tops to make for the sides of my refrigerator. And I used the exact same technique, which really worked, made it easy to make for me, where you just glue up the sections, go back and joint the individual sections, which are, a weight that you can deal with and, easy to deal with, and then just plane them and joint the edges, and then just go back and do the last glue up. Now, at that time, I had my old saw with a sliding table on, so it was really easy to cut these things to length. So this is just kind of, I had to cut the edges to length and able to use a saw on this, and I went back and I used that same router template to round a couple of corners. Now this here is the first countertop that's being replaced, and I just removed a couple screws, slid that out, and then just slid this one back in its place. And I'm real happy with the look of it compared to the 25-year-old Formica countertops that were there. And there's my little helper keeping an eye, making sure everything's going right. So, the first side is done, and then I just kind of moved over to the other side. And on this side, I wound up making the counter a couple inches longer, hanging over the side of the cabinet. And I plan on putting a wine rack in there someday, but, that's a future project, but I just left room for it and actually gained a little extra counter space by doing so. So basically, this is just one of those upgrades that, cost me nothing but time to do that. I'm real happy with the way it came out. Now, I went back today and I just took a couple of quick videos of it. And here you can see how these side ones have gotten a nice collar to them and stuff. And I think it's because of the oil-based poly that I used on them. And there you can see, you know, these are the two side ones, and they've held up well. You know, they've stayed real nice, and we're happy with the way that they came out. And then here's the center island one, and this one hasn't taken on a real good color. I think it's that UV stabilized water-based polyurethane, and I plan on stripping that off pretty soon and replacing it with an oil base. But you know, here's basically how it looks. And I did build a stand for my TV there to get the TV up in the air and hide all the wiring. I have a video of that on here if anybody's interested. And, you know, that really cleaned everything up and helped out. And then you can see last week I just started some lettuce on my grow light stand that I built. This is the one that was in Mother Earth News magazine. And I do have a couple of videos about it. I think if you look at some of my older videos and are interested. But in a couple of weeks we should be eating our first lettuce of the year. So, you know, it's a good way to start your plants and, you know, get some fresh greens early. So, you know, here's the rest of the countertop, and I did wind up going back later and building a drawer that's about 4 feet wide that goes under the front of it in the leg room. Turned out it was wasted space we didn't use, so I designed and built this little drawer that pulls out about 2 feet to either side, and it allows you to store, like, you know, your battery chargers and cell phones and, you know, all that little keys and stuff that you usually have laying around. So, you know, that really made a big difference. It didn't take much to add. So, you know, this is just, you know, just a quick video about, you know, how easy it was to build these butcher block countertops, and I feel it was well worth doing. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.